Salute, salute. Salute to God, the Most High, the creator of everything. Y'all, I'm going to cut this short. Okay, I'm going to cut the intro short. Please hit that subscribe button as you come in. And one time, two salutes to the God, two salutes. We got to go in on this. All right. And honestly, yes, I'm feeling some type of way, but I am not disappointed. Let me say again, I am not disappointed when you know what to expect from a system that has showed you their racist intentions, you know, each and every time, how can you be disappointed? When they've exercised this prejudice for years, this does not come with disappointment. This comes with understanding. Now, what I need you to understand is they have just ruled the unaliving of 18-year-old Ryan Hinton to be justified. We knew that was coming. Now, what they didn't figure out is this is exactly why his father, Rodney Hinton Jr., did what he did, allegedly running down Deputy Larry Henderson. And now I can say that this is why I say he sent the message. The message was loud and clear. And now I agree with what the father did. If they agree that this unaliving was justifiable, then I agree with what Rodney Hinton Jr. did on behalf of his son because that father knew that this was going to come back this way. It didn't even go in front of a grand jury, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this did not even grace the eyes of a grand jury. Real talk, it's justified. So now, what's going to happen is you're going to see an anger build up and uprising, almost like a civil unrest among my community, because now we understand that this is a game to some. That our children's lives, our lives mean nothing. Regardless of what you were doing wrong, it's not a death sentence on the side of the road. We just watched a white man assault three cops, two white guys, one female. And all he got was a $25,000 bond, got caught with, meth paraphernalia and everything. We see this all the time. You have birthright citizenship legals out here throwing rocks in LA protests and protests throughout the world now, assaulting law enforcement, and no one has been unalive. Not one time has an officer uttered the words that they feel threatened for their lives. But when a black man is running away, when a black man is unarmed, when a black child is holding a toy pow pow, a brake light, selling CDs, cigarettes, whatever the case may be, we're unalived and it's justified. Well, if that's the case, then the running down of Officer Deputy Larry Henderson was justified on behalf of the black community. On behalf of the black community. This has to stop. This is saying that our lives have no value. You just showed us that, it's okay for white guys on meth to beat up police and only get a $25,000 bond. You just showed us that, you know, some brown people in protest of their people being deported can assault law enforcement with no problem. And no one's unalived. But this right here sets the precedence for copycat crimes. This right here sets the precedence for those who want redemption for the lives lost in these unalivings that you deem to be justified. When we all have eyes to see that this young man was running away, he was no threat. The area he was actually fleeing to, he had nowhere else to go. He was cornered. And then on top of that, he gets unalived by a cop that's not even in uniform. This was not even a uniform cop, and this is all right. This is justified. This is justified. She said that two units, when I say she, I think her name was Teresa Fiji, something like that. She was the chief or the sheriff or whoever the wicked witch of law enforcement was. Okay, that was showing us the still shots. She said that two unmarked units moved in and had them under surveillance and then moved out for two patrol car units to come in. Okay. The officer who unalived Ryan Hinton was wearing jeans. When is that uniform? When is that uniform? The vehicle that he got out of was not a marked police vehicle. It was not. How is this justified when someone is fleeing? Ryan never even looked in his direction. They tried to slow the footage down, blur it in between the dumpsters, and say that he was blading a weapon at the officer. Nope, we never saw that either. We never saw that either. So at what point do you get the message that because of things like this, when you take one of ours, things like what Rodney Hinton Jr. did will continue to happen because you're taking one of ours with no justification? Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, this must stop. This must stop. So it's safe to say that anytime you unalive a black man in this country or a black woman, black child, that it's justified. It's justifiable. There were two kids yielding a weapon in New Mexico. Two white kids yielding a weapon at law enforcement. These children aimed this weapon, you know, they had their stance down packed like they had been playing Call of Duty, y'all. They were ready. These individual churn, you could hear the officer say time after time that he did not want to 40 these children, which means hit them with, a non-lethal round, a beanbag almost. They weren't in fear for their life at no point. At no point. We watched a guy at a traffic stop yield an AR-15 at a police, and the police backed up and fled. Went back to arrest the guy later. In this case, Ryan Hinton was running away, stolen car or not, y'all. I don't care what the crime is. That's why you do time for crime. That's why there's judges. That's why there's a legal system. That's why there's state prosecutors. The same prosecutor just found the unaliving of Ryan Hinton to be justifiable because they would have found him guilty anyways. They would have found him guilty anyway. So in their mind, he's better off dead. And that's in their mind. In our mind, we love our lives. We love our children. Okay? We love our communities. We love everything about being black the same way some people hate everything about us being black. So this right here shows us that you have no regard for a black life. You have no regard for justice. And the only time that I can remember someone being persecuted for something like this was Derek Chauvin. And I'm 47 years old. And all I remember is Derek Chauvin. Yes, I remember Rodney King in 1992, but none of those officers were prosecuted. None of them. None of them. It's alleged that OJ killed two white people, and now the whole world is upset. OJ is cleared by a jury of his peers, and people are still condemning OJ in his death, in his eternal rest. So the same way y'all feel about those lives that OJ took is the same way we feel about the lives that y'all continuously take unjustifiably and then turn around and justify it for the sake of not having to persecute one of your own for taking the lives of one of us. And it's not going to stop. So as this continues, you will see things like what Rodney Hinton Jr. did continue, because nothing adds insult to injury rather than unaliving this guy's son when you could have arrested him, lying about the footage, you losing an officer because, Rodney Hinton Jr. just couldn't take it. He wanted his get back, eye for eye. So you lost Deputy Larry Henderson. Then you pack his hearing with nothing but angry, bald head, prejudice, alienation, white cops. To the point where you violated his civil rights, his civil liberties. And and there was a lawsuit filed on his behalf. And now you're going to go and say that the unaliving of his son was also justifiable, and you act like you don't understand the course of his actions? I'm starting to believe that all police have mental health problems. State prosecutors have mental health problems. Judges have mental health problems. No one can see that this young man had his back turned. He never once saw that cop out of uniform standing there. He never once saw that. Never saw that street clothes cop standing there. But this is okay. This is okay, We're just supposed to take this lying down. We're just supposed to take this lying down. And we're just supposed to get used to this. And we wonder why all these egregious acts seem to keep taking place. And it's going to get worse and worse because of the way that you guys and the system continuously treat people who look like me, whether we are guilty or not, whether we are wrong or not. That's what your jails and your prisons are made for. How are you going to pack jails? How are you going to get mass incarceration if you keep killing us? Make that make sense. If you want some free labor, and you continue to unalive people who look like me, who's going to pack your prisons? Huh? Who's going to manufacture those goods? And I'm not saying we deserve to pack your prisons. I don't want to pack your prison. We shouldn't be in your prison, but hell, that's how you make your money as well. So it's like you got to pick your poison because this is a double standard. With that being said, y'all let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about this outcome. Actually, let me play this. Give me just a moment. My apologies. Listen, I never even got to play this, man. I just came in here ready to cook. Let's get it.
Listening to reaction from Hinton's loved ones. Todd.
Yeah, Lindsay, one of the men representing the estate of 18-year-old Ryan Hinton, Fanon Rucker, is a former prosecutor and judge here in Hamilton County. He said he's known Prosecutor Pillage since law school and did not ascribe any political motives to her decision not to file charges against the officer who shot and killed Hinton. But Rucker did say he and Hinton's loved ones did not see justice served today. He said he was confused and confounded that Pillage called the deadly interaction last month in East Price Hill justified, adding the Hinton family is planning to file a civil lawsuit.
We believe that a group of citizens should be the ones to make the determination of whether or not, in the eyes of the civil courts, that the tragic death of young Ryan Hinton was not justified. And we intend to advocate for that position as loudly, as strongly, and as intentionally as we can.
Now, Ryan Hinton's cousin, Marlon Howard, also spoke this afternoon. He called the prosecutor's decision a joke. That's the word he used, adding that he wants his deceased cousin to know that he is loved and missed. Reporting live downtown, Todd Dykes, WWT News 5.
And Todd, I know we've not been given the officer's name, of course, because of Marcy's law, but we know today.
CM McGrath. CM McGrath is that officer's name. Y'all know social media been dug that up. And Marcy's law is supposed to protect the victims. The victim is deceased. So how are you using Marcy's law to protect a police who's getting paid leave anyway for unaliving an 18-year-old? It's almost like an incentive, a reward. You mean to tell me you qualify for Marcy's law, no charges filed, and you get a paid leave, and all you had to do was unalive an N-word? All you had to do is unalive one of us. Is that where we're going with this? So what's the incentive for a father avenging the unaliving of his son? Death row? 30 racist cops piled in the courtroom? Eyeing him like a hungry dog staring at a piece of meat? Treating his family the way you treated his family when they only wanted to get his attention and let him know that we're here, we support you? That right now all you see is them, but we are here? Man, miss me with this, man. Miss me with this, man. For real, real talk. Miss me with this one, man. Listen, as long as things like this continue to happen, they were all, man, listen, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, F around and find out, man. F around and find out, man. We're going to hear this a lot. We're going to hear this a lot. So I guess the world might as well get used to it if this is what it's going to be or how it has to be or how they want it to be. I don't know. I don't know. Man, listen, man. Y'all get your one-on-one. Get your one-on-one. Get your one-on-one with your higher power. There's only one God, man. There's only one God, and this justice system needs God, but yet they claim in God they trust. You know what I mean? In God they trust. What God? What God are they trusting in? What God would back up this savage behavior? Huh? Tell me. Y'all stay prayed us, stay blessed us, stay meditated us, stay protected, stay real, stay conscious, stay uncut, be inspired, be great, be you. Our kings and queens, brothers and sisters.